decks. Tri-Brigade, Melfi Tri-Brigade was a big deck he played for a while. Sky Striker, where you're doing that same thing. Consistency and strength is a good way to get through the Swiss rounds. But we do see that Nibble Angler summon followed up by a special summon of Sprite Blue.
Not always the normal summon you really want to start with, but with it being a level 2 monster, he does enable him to special summon the Sprite Blue to use its effect.
That's been kind of like the evolution of these Yu-Gi-Oh themes. Is that a lot of times they did a lot of stuff, get started, but sometimes you just have hands where you can't really do anything with. But now you just need a level 2. Oh, you drew this other non-engine card? Well, that can be actually your starter card for your whole theme.
Yeah, so he uses Blue's effect to get Sprite Red. That's a card that's able to negate a monster effect. So that pretty much shields him from anything Mark may have for the rest of the turn. Other than something like Infinite Impermanence, which is a trap card and can't be negated by red.
Yeah, Infinite Impermanence is definitely a card that you can expect from a lot of players. If they're going to be playing some sort of interaction from the hand, Imperm is the one you're going to probably start with. So you're going to guarantee go, then you maybe go on to like something like Ash or, I mean, obviously the Beastials are on a whole nother level too. But we do see that Link summoning coming down, sending Angler and Sprite Blue to the graveyard.
So there's Sprite Spring. That's going to let him send a level 2 monster from his deck to his graveyard.
Yeah, the secret rare out of Darkwing Blast definitely gave Sprite a boost in the arm when they needed it most. They lost Ronin Totem, but still needed a way to get to Totally Awesome. Sprite Sprint, perfect for that role.
Wow, so he uses Sprint's effect to send the Angler to the graveyard so he can get 2 more Nimble monsters, but loses out to Skullmeister.
We were talking about that before the match. Skullmeister's been seeing a little more popularity. Another one of those interactions from the hand, and maybe this is the key one, is Angler in the graveyard. Where do you go from here?
Yeah, it's tough because you can't really use the Red's effect or you would lose the Sprint.
Looks like he's taking a moment to consider it.
I guess you can. I guess you'd still have 2 monsters instead of 1. So is that worth it, is what he's contemplating. It probably is, because that would allow him to make Gigantic Sprite, summon Swap Frog, make Sprite Elf, bring back a Swap Frog, and make Totally Awesome. So that would be his line to the combo if there's nothing in his hand.
Looks like Paulo agrees.
Yeah.
Does indeed use the red to negate, and now he's summoning the 2 Nimble Beavers.
Yeah, sometimes it's just about the number of monsters on your field and not the quality of them.
But also shows like the process of like making sure you have the red just in case, so you know that you'll be able to go through the motions. Even though it seems so easy, doing everything correctly in the right order sequencing is huge.
That's true. Now that his red is used, he is vulnerable to something else that Mark may have.
He's maybe like an Imperm on Gigantic Sprite or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been vulnerable to that anyway.
The Imperm is just definitely the key card. Ooh, Magnamute.
Okay, so he wants to do that before he uses a Gigantic Sprite. Because if he does, he can't special summon monsters over level 2.
And now Magnamut is going to counter Magnamut to banish the Sprite Blue, so definitely a little bit of a backfire. Now Magnamut, when he's summoned, will be able to activate to add during the end phase. A dragon. That's the best part about Magnamut. You're getting the value, you're getting a banished card from his graveyard. Well, in this case, you're stopping Paulo from summoning his Magnamut, which means Paulo's not going to get to add a dragon during the end phase, but Mark is, and you can go and grab a Druis Worm, a Soranir, anything you need. The biggest part of the Beastials is just the counterplay with the Beastial, the Beastial Wars.
Yeah.
I keep talking about them.
The Beastial Wars of 2022. So he'll stack up his Nimble Anglers. And it looks like he'll be summoning that Gigantic Sprite in defense mode. So there's the moment of truth. Will he resolve the Gigantic Sprite's effect? And it looks like he will. And he's going for that Swap Frog. So it looks like he is trying to go into that combo.
The Swap Frog into Sprite Elf into Totally Awesome play, yep.
Yeah, so now that he could use the Swap Frog's effect to send a Swap Frog to the grave, he can use his Gigantic Sprite and red to summon Sprite Elf, which will bring back a Swap Frog. Oh, he has a starter too.
She's going to be able to grab. Oh, yeah, he hasn't had the jet access yet.
He has not used jet this turn. So we'll see whether that gets him Sprite Smashers, another starter.
Maybe double cross?
If he plays it, a double cross.
I like Double Cross. I know you were also a fan of it. I saw you using it back at New York Comic Con.
Yes, I was a huge fan of Double Cross.
It's a lot of versatility in that. Whether you just need a monster that has really good spot removal, being able to attach it as a material, it's a really cool and versatile card. And the best part is, if you have Smashers, you can search Double Cross. If you have Double Cross, you can search Smashers. Then you have those two forms of interruption. We see that in the tier decks. A lot of them are using Soliac and Crime because you have the other one, you get to search the other. It works out pretty well.
Yeah. So he then able to use the Jet in the Link Summon, so he's able to keep his red. Make the elf, use the elf to bring back the frog, and have Totally Awesome on the field alongside his Sprite red, which he can use on his next turn.
Yeah, Paulo is meticulous and usually very effective with his plays. I remember watching, like, when he won, when I was commentating, and using Sky Strikers. Like, I've been watching Sky Strikers all weekend. They'd have, like, okay turns, but every time I watched Paulo, it would be 5 back rows, 4 cards in hand. I engaged 3 times. Like, he definitely knows the right lines to play. And practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the more times you're going to see these scenarios, and it's just going to become, like, a second instinct to be able to play. Like, you're so, I know what to do here. I don't really have to think too much about it.
So in the end phase, it looks like Mark does add a Beastial to his hand.
Looked like he was going to grab Druid Swarm, but now he's thinking about changing his mind. Nope, he does grab Druid Swarm.
Oh, sorry. No? Yeah, no problem. Same on Druid Worm. Yeah. Profit?
We'll see if Paulo has that Dupe Frog that can protect his Totally Awesome from an attack.
Looks like he is going to use the effect. Maybe just grabbing a Swap Frog could be the dupe. It does look like it might just be swap.
Looks like it's just a Swap Frog.
The Dupe Frog is pretty cool. Like, protecting your Sprite Elf from an attack it's pretty significant.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dupe Frog in the deck. I know a lot of players have tried to dissuade me from using it, saying it leaves you more vulnerable to super polymerization.
Not a great draw, but even you were mentioning earlier, it's a level 2. Worst case, if you do draw it.
That's true. It was no worse than the normal summon Nickel Angler there.
Exactly. And it's a frog, so it does work with Soft Frog.
That's true, when you need that special summon from your hand. Oh, so does the Angler. Even better, more effectively.
Looks like Mark is going to lead things off here, trying to activate his Druid Swarm. Going to probably go after a Sprite Blue or Sprite Jet. Goes after the Jet. Let's see if that prompts a response here from Paulo. Paulo's going to take a moment to think. We know that Paulo has Magnum in his hand, so he could change those Magnum targeting the own card. But that will then see if Mark has another copy of Beastial. He does change his own Magnum. So the Beastials, when I mentioned the Beastial Wars, this is what I'm talking about. They both target the same card, so the one to resolve first will banish that initial target. Then the one activated first, there is no target left to banish, has to stay in hand.
Yeah, I think that's a good play here to keep Mark from getting 2 level 6s on the field, which is also just 2 monsters to attack with.
Yeah, I mean, all the Beastials have 2,500 attack dark monsters. Yeah. Great for virus targets, great for attacking and doing damage, great for banishing cards from your opponent's graveyard, great for filling your hand back up, great for dealing with more monsters with Druid Swarm. Beastials just all around great cards.
Yeah. So Mark does use his Nimble Angler's effect. Paulo, of course, uses Totally Awesome's effect to negate the activation.
Yeah, you can't pass up on getting the level 2 off the field, stopping the special summon, and he still has the elf to bring back that Totally Awesome, which he'll probably do right here.
Yes, and since he's using the Toad's effect while Mark has a monster on the field, he can use the elf immediately to bring back Totally Awesome. It leaves virtually no window for Mark to resolve a card before Totally Awesome has the option.
Yeah, it would have to be like a quick play. It's supposed to be 2 or higher, fast effect.
Yeah, it would have to be chained in that same chain.
Like an open game state Super Poly turn player or something like that.
Well, nothing stops Super Poly.
that card is an all-time classic for sure. And now, let's see. So he can go to battle. If he had that Dupe Frog, it would protect his Totally Awesome right now.
Yeah, no, a Dupe Frog would have been awesome. That's what I'm saying.
But instead, but this also just shows you the power. Not only is this Magnum like get him another resource, stop the other, the Magnum from coming down on Paulo's turn, the first turn. He gets to lead off with this giant monster on the field to go to the battle phase, to go after the Sprite Elf or the Totally Awesome. Looks like he might be wanting to target the Totally Awesome with an effect, so he's going to take down Sprite Elf, or knowing it, he has no way to deal with the Sprite Elf afterwards, and if your opponent starts with a Sprite Elf on the field, you're in trouble, because it can be used for a Link summon. It will be summoning back another monster, so you definitely want to make sure you clear Sprite Elf anytime you're up against a Sprite matchup.
Yeah, this could be one of two things. He may not have significant follow-up that would actually justify getting rid of the Toad instead.
That's what I'm linking at.
Like you're saying. Or he may be looking to target the Totally Awesome multiple times. Once to the negation.
Just
and
one like
once
Forbidden
again.
Chalice or something. See how Mark can... He's used a Skullmeister and a Magnumit so far. He used a Jerusalem from his hand that wasn't able to resolve since its initial target was banished from the graveyard.
Looks like we're in the end phase already, so he's using his Magnum Huts effect.
Oh, so that's it. Yeah, so I guess that is the nothing else to do. Decide Sprite Elf is worse than Totally Awesome.
Yeah, that's Mark is not in good shape here.
No, he's not. But Paulo is an efficient master, so I think he is going to make sure not only that he can do 8,000, that he covers all his bases as well at the same time.
Yeah, with Totally Awesome and Sprite Red on the field, I think it would be pretty hard to get stopped during this turn.
Especially because you know there's only 2 cards you don't know. It's just Druisworm plus 2 unknowns. Maybe 3.
So if he makes... Oh, so he's going to Link Summon.
Elf, maybe?
Elf it is.
And you see the strategic placement still being protected.
Yeah, so now it's pointing at the Totally Awesome, so he can't be targeted. Oh, and then special summon Sprite Blue, so he gets to use Blue's effect. And he'll get Jet. He'll special summon it, use its effect. That's a weird thing about Sprite. Sometimes you just run out of room on your field.
Yeah.
You want to play more monsters, but you can't.
Yeah, new age Yu-Gi-Oh problems for sure. You get a 6-hit monster zone. You get more than you always had, but you're still running out of room.
Yeah, looks like he got Sprite starter. He's looking to end this here.
Yeah, I mean, if this game doesn't end this turn, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I think he's going to make Gigantic Sprite. Not only would that be his 4th summon, but it would also force Mark to use his Beastial cards. Looks like I'm wrong. He's going for another negation, number 65, Djinn Buster.
Yep, we're going to be able to negate a monster effect with that.
I mean, I understand him not caring about Nibiru anyway, and also that can now negate... I believe it negates the activation and destroys it, right? So that can stop the Beastial and get rid of it without leaving it in the hand.
I do think so. But I told you, Paulo is a little meticulous, so he's going to... I'm also, like, used to play the same way. If my opponent's not conceding, I'm assuming they have something, so I'm going to try and play as optimally as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we know he has a Beastial.
Sprite Elf brings back Swap Frog. No effect to Swap Frog. No frogs left in deck to send, I'd imagine.
It's interesting. It seemed unnecessary, but I... Oh, so he's going to make Gigantic Sprite now with 3,200 attack. So he's actually just going to, I guess, attack over the Beastial.
Yeah, he still has Smashers as well, I think, too.
Yeah. Onibimaru, if he plays it, would also have been an answer to the higher attack monster.
Yeah, no problem.
That might be the last one he's looking to summon here.
Yeah, I mean, he may just want... I think he might be able to win without summoning it, and then also keep the red on the field as a negation. There's not that many cards in Mark's hand, right?
Yeah, I think 4.
Yeah, so I don't... I think this is going to be very hard to play through. I think he's being extra cautious here.
Yeah, sometimes you need to know when the writing's on the wall and move on, especially because you're not realizing this time if you somehow do win game 2, you're going to game 3, you're having less time to play because you didn't see the writing on the walls quick enough.
And he actually goes for the carrot too, so now he can negate a spell or a trap if he wishes. That's all thanks to Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic Fright is such a crazy card because you can make it with Link monsters and then double its attack.
Yeah, he can't even summon the Druisworm since he let the thing resolve. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So he's locked out of even the one way he had a chance. See, that's the even weirder part. He's not even trying to like stay in this game. Or maybe he doesn't realize he's locked out of the level 5s. Yeah, he doesn't realize it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Gigantic Sprite resolved. You can't summon that. This game is over.
Yeah, he needed to chain that to the Gigantic Sprite's effect, but that wouldn't have mattered. He would
have just been. He gets another body on the board. The Druisworm does have the effect to, like, if it's sent to the graveyard from the field, you can send a special monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. But with negate after negate on Paulo's board, I'm pretty sure he uses normal summon there at the end. He still had Smashers, still had probably a Sprite starter in his hand. Like, there wasn't really much there Mark could do. I mean, facing down a good player when they draw well with a deck that they know well, it can be tough.
Yeah, that was overwhelming.
But going first, like, he has to go to his side deck. You take out some of those cards that he might have that aren't so great going second. Maybe we'll get to see some Sprite double cross action. I mean, maybe if you're not main decking it because you don't want to open up. I think that the biggest tough thing about double cross is Smashers is a quick play, right? And while it's not, they do two different things. If you open up with Smashers, you can still use it when you go second in your opening hand. Double cross, you have to wait to set it, so there's a little downside of that. But just having the two different disruptions, I'm a big fan of double cross.
Yeah, that's true. My biggest problem with double cross, I do play one copy of double cross in my deck because I like to circle my deck. But my biggest problem where I'm like, oh man, all I have is a double cross, usually comes after they either Lava Golem me or Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode me.
Oh, that makes sense.
I could have had a full field of monsters, but if they just hit the Xyz monster and the Link monsters on my field, now I can't even use it.
Yeah.
And typically since I've searched for it, they know I have it, so that's a way they were able to play.
So maybe that's the card that would be cited out even when you're going first. Because you just described any card that's being put in going second against Sprite is pretty good against that card. So that does make a lot of sense. Yeah, Lava Golem and Sheer Mode, those are fantastic cards this format. The Sprite deck we see a lot of time has the Elf Toad, Lava Golem, they're gone. The Tournament deck, they have Elf Rukalos usually, maybe Elf Rukalos Dweller, you can Sheer Mode that. Or if they have sometimes they have Elf Rukalos Dweller, Baron de Fleur. We haven't got to see that yet this weekend, but we will, I'm sure. That is like their main turn one bread and butter combo. Plus they have Crime and Soliac set on top of that. But definitely Sheer Mode, Lava Golem, those are the key cards I'm looking at this weekend. I still think Dark Ruler No More is strong. It doesn't deal with Abyss Dweller, but if you have something like Herald of Orange Light, Infinite Permanence, something for Abyss Dweller, other ways to deal with it, or just you have Fenrir, some Beastials, you can Dark Ruler No More and actually deal with the board.
Yeah,
but it's tough.
Yeah, I remember there was a time where a lot of people were main decking Dark Ruler No More with the theory that if I'm first, I have the advantage. If I'm second, I really want to draw Dark Ruler No More. But that doesn't seem to be the case this weekend. I feel like it's certainly fallen out of popularity.
Yeah, it's tough to include a lot of those tech choices in your main deck in Game 1 with so many like these little engines that have been filled into these decks, like the Beastial, those slots that you would see those Dark Ruler No Mores are probably filled with Beastial monsters now because they're good going first and second. But I am still a fan of Dark Ruler No More evenly matched. That 1-2 punch going second, it's tough to deal. But now you have Lava Golem and Seer Mode. You're not going to play Lava Golem, Seer Mode, and Dark Ruler No More unless you're really trying to see some board rigging cards. But it does look like our duelists are shuffled up, and we are about ready to jump into game number 2. Paulo did get to go first and win that game number 1, but he will be going second. So let's go ahead and dive right in. This is game 2 of round 5 of YCS Pasadena. Mark is on the play.
Profit, stand by. Main? Sure.
Ooh, Mark starts with Kastira Fenrir. I was wondering how long it was going to take for us to hit. It summons it in defense mode.
Yeah, that's a card you don't see in every Sprite deck.
I was going to say it's a card you don't see in defense mode often.
Also true.
Both true. I would love Fenrir, though. It's whatever deck you're playing, you can include it, and it's just like a huge bonus. When you go first, you just now have this interruption. If your opponent does anything, you can banish a card on their side of the field. It's just free, and you get to add itself afterwards.
And after he searches for another Fenrir, his hand looks exactly like it did 10 seconds ago.
You just get this free monster on the field. Really fantastic.
And it's nice that even though it's a level 7, it can be used to link summon Sprite Elf because it only needs one level 2.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest advantage of Sprite Elf is that you just need one level 2. The other one can be anything.
So we'll summon the Angler, use its effect, special summon a second Angler. There comes the red, so he can now stop monster effects,
And that's
followed by
pixies?
blue. I believe that's blue, right?
Is it? I think it's pixies.
Yeah, it must be because he's not searching. Should probably put my glasses back on.
But yeah, Pixie's also one you don't see usually come down on the first turn like that either. But now Gigantic Sprite is going to use its effect to detach Beaver to summon.
Yeah, Pixie's good as a finisher.
You catch him off guard a lot of the time, right?
Ever use it against Dinomorphia?
Oh no.
They pay their life points down and just finish them.
Just one attack. Oh, honest. / Pixies. But yeah, Gigantic Sprite summoning Swap Frog. When Swap Frog is summoned, he can dump another Swap Frog from the deck to the graveyard.
Yeah, worst case scenario, Pixie's just a level 2 monster that you can special summon from your hand pretty easily.
Something to extend past your normal summon. People keep, Nibiru isn't good here. Gigantic Sprite resolved. But I think if you had Fenrir, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, he got the red up before he would be able to Nibiru.
Yeah, the red came out early. So he is,
look, you called it.
Yeah, he is using that Fenrir to make Sprite Elf. I'm not surprised. And here comes another Swap Frog.
Sprite Elf and Totally Awesome. Name a more iconic duo. They work so well together. Now the 2 Swap Frogs are going to overlay for Totally Awesome, everyone's favorite. Let's see where Mark decides to go next. He could just go into a Gin Buster. He could leave up the Pixies in the red. He has a lot of options. It looks like he's going to link them away for Sprite Sprint, though. Oh, nope, IP Masquerena.
Oh, Masquerena.
So, not a bad start.
That leaves him the potential to summon Unicorn on Paulo's turn.
Oh, Ancient Beast of the Sky, please hear my cry.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm ready for this desert to get enveloped with a glow. But we'll have to wait and see if he has it. We were talking about just 1, 2, 3. This is just the perfect number. Like, what do you do if you get shearboated here? You're done.
You're in trouble.
Oh, you get to add back a water monster.
Yeah,
Totally awesome. There you go.
Get back the Nimble Beaver and hope you make it to next turn.
Yep. But it doesn't look like Sheer Mode is touching down here for Paulo.
We don't even know if he plays it.
True. I guess Sprite would be one of the... Yeah, I would still use it in Sprite.
Is that a Ghost Ogre in his hand?
I did look like he drew that for turn, I think.
I was going to say, that has to be the 6th card.
Yeah, Ghost Ogre is a cool one because you can actually use it against Gigantic Sprite. Since Gigantic Sprite detaches at resolution, if you Ghost Ogre it, it can't detach. It's destroyed. It doesn't get a special summon. So, yeah, assuming that's a 6th card, just as it always.
It's so frustrating when the 6th card shows up, like, just after you need it.
Nibiru the Primal Being.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to have a card that is absolutely useless. At least Ghost Ogre, he can use, like, on IP Masquerena, I think. So he'll be able to use it for something.
That's true.
Yeah, because it doesn't target, so it'll be fine. Not as bad as drawing a 6 Nibiru, but... I just saw the ticker about the Ghost Trick Lantern and Master Duel Mate. I got one of those. Limited time.
Me too.
Yeah, it's so awesome. I've been using the Trishula only as my mate because it's so big and he just like flies around when you cook him, and I love Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier.
That's a cool one. I like Pot of Greed. It's classic.
Yep, I've seen a lot of people using Pot of Greed. That's a iconic. What does it do?
Oh man, Sprite Starter and Mark Chain's Totally Awesome, but Paulo has Gamma.
Ciphering Gear Gamma, he sighted it in going second.
Oh man.
That's huge.
He didn't resolve yet. Right? Oh, that's fine, right?
I'm thinking on response, right?
On response of Gamma.
Yeah.
Sneak that level 6 monster onto the field right before the starter resolves and locks him into 2s.
Yeah, if he didn't negate the starter with the Totally Awesome, he just would have been stuck with a Gamma in his hand.
Yeah.
Maybe you just let the starter resolve and then toad the some monster you summon if he triggers, like blue or something would be the option. But it's hard to like play around Gamma. You don't really want, because they have to be siding it and they have to draw it on top of that.
Well, I think that probably would have been a better play anyway, though, right? Because if he had toted the blue, then the blue's effect would be able to be used.
Yeah, and he takes the monster too. Yeah, it would have worked out a lot better. Or I guess the concern is he summons a level 2 sprite starter, doesn't trigger the effect, has a level 2 on the board.
Yeah, the concern is he gets red.
Yeah.
Oh, or red. Yeah, that's another big one.
That's the concern. And players don't usually, but in this circumstance he may have, because if he just took the blue, now he'd be locking himself out of using blue again that turn, because it's once per turn, and it would get negated. It might have been a blowout. So
Trying to find a way to navigate this.
it's tough. It's, yeah.
But if there's someone who can do it, Paulo is probably the man.
No, you can't trigger it.
Okay.
It's fine.
I'll trigger the trigger.
Yeah, attack point, 1,000. Okay, so you got swap to hand.
Yeah, I am.
You want to bet or something?
So it looks like he went for the carrot,
Continuing
right?
the battle
Is
phase.
that what that is?
I think so. Yep, sprite carrot.
Looks like a carrot.
The monitor's a little far away from it, so with these sprite normal monsters, the common monsters, it's kind of hard to tell. We'll do the best we can.
Yeah. The foils are easy. You can tell from the foiling.
Yep. So you take 200.
Oh.
Yeah, just going to battle and clearing this board with the
And then attack
Gamma
with
and
carrot too.
Driver. And go to his carrot, and carrot's going to attack directly.
I don't know if Paulo was
the total?
surprised to be allowed to enter his battle phase.
I think he was. I think he was just
Yeah.
trying to force out the elf in IP.
But sometimes that's a really good play. Like
Yes.
you make your opponent decide,
Okay.
are you just going to lose your
Yeah.
field in my battle phase, or
Yeah.
are you going to use the mask arena, and now I can continue my turn with perfect knowledge of what you're going to do with
So you got
it.
swap to hand, right?
Yeah,
Nice
it looks
swap
like he just chose to lose it all. He didn't even use the elf effect, right, to bring back a monster? He just let him go to battle? Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah, I think you're right.
How many?
all right, and then Paulo's going to special summon blue here.
That's fine.
Well, Paulo in the driver's seat now. Thanks to Cyframe Gear Gamma. I mean, yeah, it would just I was thinking, yeah, the Gamma would be dead in his hand because he'd eventually Gigantic Sprite and can't summon the driver from his deck, but just having monsters on the board makes it just completely useless for him to get. It's hard to consider, though, that your opponent... Gamma's kind of fallen out of favor, though. In Game 2, when your opponent's going second, if there is a card from the hand they might side in, Gamma is one to consider.
Thinking?
No problem.
Yeah, and Paulo did hard draw the blue, so he had no reason to get it with the sprite starter anyway.
Is this in perm?
He had all his bases
I think it is,
covered.
right?
Yeah, it's a good draw for him.
I think it is.
It's either going to be a Link Summon or a Synchro Summon. Come on, give me Omega.
I'm thinking an elf.
Oh, that is crazy. Just Gamma is Elf by itself now. That's so
Summon,
funny.
okay.
Oh, Nightmare Phoenix.
Summon. It's okay.
The
a
Nightmare
good one.
Phoenix doesn't need effect
yeah.
monsters. It's just two monsters with different names.
Yeah, two monsters with different names, yep. And he's going to discard Angler for Nightmare Phoenix. That's going to get destroy a Speller Trap and summon two Nimbles. Yeah, all the Nightmares are just two monsters with different names, I believe.
I'll attempt to.
Except
Yeah,
tokens,
confirm.
maybe?
Okay.
All right, so he's going to Imperm,
Phoenix.
It's good.
Uh-huh.
I guess, the Carrot.
Fact.
Yep.
Angler. Think in the position, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
This here.
Yeah, Nightmare Phoenix just needs any two monsters with different names.
Here.
Two Nimble
Probably going to
Beavers
use this
touching
one.
down. Thinks a Nimble Angler.
That's fine.
Mark just sitting with two cards in hand, going to draw to three. Paulo, the world is his oyster right now. Not locked into anything, not locked out of anything.
So he is past his battle phase.
I guess that is one thing he's already given up.
Yeah, so the 3,200 attack Gigantic Sprite
Gigantic.
isn't as good for its massive attack points. Gigantic attack points.
He is quite gigantic, and now it is special summoning Jet. Nope. Thinking about red.
Yes. So he goes for the red, so now he has the monster effect negation in red, and he has spell and trap negation in carrot.
Just trying to control the game as best as he can.
Yeah, the sprite deck, even without the toad out and the elf, is extremely effective at negating card effects. I think finally we're going to see an elf.
Fact on blue.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he'll immediately use its effect, a special summon blue.
Dash effect.
Yep.
Special summon Jet next, getting smashers from his deck.
Imagine we're going to see IP next, or is he going to Exceed Summon? Yeah, it's going to be Exceed Summon for Gin Buster since they're 2 dark monsters.
Yep, looks like it. So yeah, he has
Burma is here, right?
he can negate up to 2 monster
Burma's
effects
here,
and up to
right?
1 spelling
Yeah,
trap.
Really far away.
And we'll see
Yeah.
what his prosperity gets him.
I like Paulo does the same thing I do with impermanence. You activate your card as far away from whatever column the imperm is. Just good happen to have as far away as possible. You don't want to even be close to that zone.
I think it's those 6. Just checking. Yes.
Mark does not have a lot of cards in his hand either.
No. Not a lot going on for Mark.
I think Paulo has more negations than Mark has cards.
3.
And we know he has Ghost Ogre in his hand as well, so Sprite's off the table for Mark.
Oh boy, Ash Blossom.
You have 3 here.
He revealed that Effect Veiler and Ash Blossom. It looks like he's taking the Ash Blossom.
Ash.
He is indeed taking the Ash Blossom. So now he can stop card drawing too.
Paulo just always optimally playing his cards, making sure he gets every ounce of
Swap.
power he can out of his deck.
Yeah, I mean, Effect Veiler wouldn't have been terrible there, but he already has 2 monster negations available.
Yeah, Ash for the starter, Ogre if he somehow gets us to gigantic,
You can go. Just look.
the spell and trap negation, monster effect negation, elf bringing back something, plus smasher
How
set.
much time?
All I see in Mark's hand is a
20
swap
minutes. Thank
frog.
I'm just looking. You can.
Main phase.
Main phase.
Mark does have his main phase 1 though, and he enters it. Let's see what his first action is going to be. Okay, we knew he had the Fenrir.
Yes, and that's
Something.
yeah, that's not bad.
Probably won't use the effect to add.
Double check.
No, but it can attack one of the
Okay,
monsters to
I
destroy
will-
it. One of the relevant negations.
I imagine he's going to smashers it.
Measures.
Yeah, I guess
Vicious
it doesn't hurt to
Fire.
just get rid of it immediately.
Yeah.
Again, Mark has so few cards. He
I think I might have waited till he entered the battle phase. Maybe he did enter the battle phase, we didn't hear it, but yeah, just getting off the board I guess is fine too.
yeah. He's just so outcarded.
Paulo's good at doing that. I feel that way every time I watch a Paulo match. Like the decks he uses, like Sky Striker, Tri Brigade, they just amass a lot of like resources. They put up good boards, have good follow-up. That's definitely his play style, and Sprite lines up perfectly for Paulo.
Yeah, that's definitely a style of duelist. I think there's a lot of players who gravitate toward
Yeah.
those decks that excel when using them.
Certainly.
So he's going to normal summon the Swap Frog, then special summon Jet. Obviously, if he uses Jet's effect, though, it's probably getting negated since he has no cards in his hand.
No cards in hand, 2 level 2s on the field. Ghost Ogre in Paulo's hand. You can look in your extra deck. I don't know if there's any answers in there. That's always the thing as you're playing. I look at my opponent in the eyes while they're looking through their extra deck, trying just to find something they can do, anything. And I just enjoy that moment. I'm just like, yes, look, understand there is no out for you.
He needs to go into the Cyberse and create a card with his duelist
There
skill.
you go.
The perfect link to for this situation.
Just start grabbing them out of the air. So it does look like he is looking at the Sky Cavalry, maybe thinking Zeus is kind of fallen out of favor in a lot of these decks.
Okay. So Sky Cavalry can't be destroyed in battle while it has an Ixtys material. So it can hold down the fort, I guess. Oh, actually, he
Yeah,
can
he can.
actually destroy Jin Buster, upgrade to Zeus, down Magician, then Zeus, and then have 2 Zeus effects to use.
Summon?
And yeah, you can only stop one with the Sprite Elf, I guess.
He can only stop 1 with the red.
Val?
Well, yeah, I'm saying if he
Right.
kills, if it gets destroyed, he'll be able to bring it back. But
Well, he would do
oh, he
it
has
on
to
the
destroy
same
the Gin
chain.
Buster. He has to destroy the Gin Buster also.
Right.
Oh nope, he's going for Elf, not the Gin Buster. So now Paulo has 2 monster effect negations.
Yes. Interesting.
But if you went after the Gin Buster, the Sprite Elf it can bring back the Gin Buster. There's no materials.
Right, yeah, so I did not see him going in that direction.
You know, maybe a slight misstep there. I think he had it too, like to be able to clear. If he just attacked over the other Gin Buster, like you said.
Yeah, but I mean, then he'd have, I think he'd be in a better situation than this, unless I'm missing something. But then he'd have a Zeus with no materials against whatever's in Polo's hand, which is still probably not the best situation, depending on what Polo has. We know one of the cards is an Ash Blossom, so maybe it would have worked.
Sorry? Yes.
Yeah, but now he's just going to detach to, and then now he's going to use the, and he gets to also destroy it because he used the link 2
Yeah.
or
He
rank
still
2.
takes, right, the 500.
It should, yeah.
Just to be sure.
They're figuring it out if
Yeah, I think
if
if
Buster
he- if
goes
he-
500 points.
If he attacked
I don't
over
know,
that Gin
because
Buster, he clears
his
the.
was
Hey, he
negated
just
by
has
his,
Zeus,
yeah.
but it's still his Zeus versus whatever Paulo has in hand plus what he's drawing. I don't think it's still a winning strategy. I don't think he's winning the game, but it's better than this situation.
Agreed. He could clear the field unless I'm missing. I don't know what level 2s he may have had in the grave, but I don't think there was anything
52.
relevant to stop the Zeus from clearing the field.
I
got
like that.
Yeah, he had
Oh,
Ass
it's-
and Ogre.
The Zeus might have actually